So next up, moving over to Dark Horse, I got to read The Resurrectionists #1. Only reason I'm reading this, Fred Van Lent. Huge fan. I love what he does. Jumped on Archer and Armstrong with him. Love his writing style. He knows history. This book is about history, so I was a big fan. I'm going to read this right from the book, though, because I don't want to screw it up. He starts off with a quote from James Baldwin. People are trapped in history, and history is trapped in them. And then he goes on to say, this is Fred Van Lent, this is especially the case when it comes to the select group of people who can not only remember their past lives, but also become them. They're known as resurrectionists. But they aren't born knowing that they've been trying to pull off the same heist for the past 3,000 years. To fight their future, they'll have to steal the past. But first, they have to wake up. Perfect. Fred Van Lent, he knows history, and I'm a history major from college. I have no idea how he knows so much of history. It's fantastic. He could be making it all up, but it seems tremendously realistic. This story is very, very interesting, and it talks about how modern day people are in touch with their past lives. And we see some examples here how they're able to, specifically in the beginning with a young woman who's fighting, use these past lives, personas, bring them to the present, and use those fighting styles. And it is very cool to see, especially in the comic book pages. I was terribly confused at first, but then when I realized what was going on, I'm like, wow, that is very cool. Which launches us right in to the main story with the character from ancient Egypt. Now, clearly he doesn't know, as the quote alluded to, he doesn't know about the ancient Egypt part, so we're seeing this back and forth in the pages of history with what Fred Van Lent is writing. And we see that he was in architecture back in Egyptian times, creating this great pyramid for, I believe it was a pharaoh, and he was basically double-crossed. Present day, he is a thief, essentially, and what's interesting is the bit that they're trying to steal ties back to ancient Egypt and sort of awakens this idea of who he was, who he is, within dreams, which I'm sure they're going to take it farther. I'm very excited about the concept. It is slightly confusing, trying to wrap my brain around what was going on, but that's what's great about Fred Van Lent is that he gives just a little bit here and there, and further issues we'll see more, I'm hoping. But he hasn't proven me wrong yet or let me down. So I'm going to recommend this. I highly recommend you check this out. I'm going to give this one 3.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. I'm very curious to see where he takes this. I think the concept is fantastic.